Tesla is down more than 14% in a single day, and the internet is on fire. We're talking major political beef, wild tweets, and real market shockwaves. As we know, this has been due to the overall controversy between Elon Musk and Trump. And right now we're going to be covering all of that, and we're looking at basically a little synopsis. So let's get started. Elon Musk is calling out government spending, critiquing Trump's policies and dropping economic truth bombs on X. And what is Trump doing? Well, he's firing back, blaming Elon for EV mandates and calling him quote-unquote crazy. Let's take a little look at what the president has to say about this critique from Elon Musk.
Pointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars.
He took it personal.
And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything. He hasn't said bad about me personally.
Now that is crazy. The market obviously reacted with a ton of volatility, the VIX spiking up, Tesla declining, the overall market of being affected. Even companies that aren't even related to this, for example, Amazon, Nvidia, just declining, seeing a tragic downside movement here in the market. But overall, what really spiked this was these tweets are just extraordinary. Just the volatility. If you guys would have seen the candlesticks intraday, it was just something surprising. So this is what really ticked it off. So Elon Musk quoted, "Such an obvious lie. So sad." Like, I'll just zoom it in for you guys a little bit. Maybe it's too small. And Trump stated, "Elon was quote unquote wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted." Now that is a stab in the back. Basically saying, yeah, your cars are no good. Nobody wants them. And I just helped you out selling your trash cars. Pretty much that's what he's saying. My God. That he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. This has already gone viral, and it has around 11 million views, pretty much 72,000 likes, 8.4 people reposting this, and the comments are just going crazy. Oh my Lord Christ. As well, Elon, wow, this really came in around 10 to 15 minutes before the close and just propulsed the stock market down lower. And he said, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is a real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DGT." Jesus, the audacity of this man. The beef is crazy between these two, honestly. And it's just getting started. And obviously, the market is being impacted overall, not just Tesla, but the intraday moves were just crazy, honestly. This pettiness is what affecting the market. And to be honest, this, you honestly don't know when you're trading. And I feel like this is just a pettiness here from part of Donald Trump and Musk. But the news and the headlines are going to be talking about this for a while. And honestly, just think about this. If there's two political sides, right? And now the Republicans are not liking, right? And on the left side, Democrats weren't really liking Elon Musk at all. So now that he's going to unveil his robotaxi in June, which is expected, he may have to delay it now that this news came out and basically there's beef with the president. How is he going to get the permits, and how is he going to deploy this without the support of the government? Basically, investors were pretty happy to see initially that, he had President Trump on his side, because it was going to be easier to get over the regulations and the hurdles. But now if we have the president against CEO Elon Musk, then we're going to be seeing more possibly regulations, possibly lawsuits that are just going to affect the stock, unfortunately. So I personally think that maybe Elon Musk is going to have to delay or do something to fix this before the robotaxi reveal coming up this month, June, which is very important for investors, if he doesn't want the majority of investors to pull out. And now let's look at what the stock did. Let's look at this more of a technical standpoint, and let's analyze this further. So The stock closed already recently, and the post market it found a nice bounce. But since the beginning of the day, this has just been absolutely intense. Let's just zoom this in a little bit more here. Okay, so this blue line represents the VWAP, which is the average price of entry, kind of like a gauge. So if we're above, just go long. If you're below, go short. Basically, you kind of get a gauge. These little lines here are the EMAs. So let's put like a little map here for you guys, so you guys can, a little legend. Let's put that on. So the red is a 9 EMA, the blue is a 15, and this is the yellow. You know what? I'll just add the 50 because it's the most important. So let's see. There it is. Okay, the 50 EMA is this yellow line right here. So we opened the day pretty weak, and the reason as to this was that we had lower sales in Germany and I believe China, and that also propelled the stock lower. And just the criticism of Musk against the bill before any of this little news and tweets came out, we were down pretty much on the day, and people assume, okay, we're probably gonna recuperate, find that. And if you guys watch my live stream, I explicitly said that Tesla was going to find resistance at the 50 EMA, and it did exactly that. Because generally, when we are below the 50 EMA, we like to give the benefit of the doubt to the sellers because they are in control. There's underlying weakness in the name. And what did we have? The news came out exactly at the level, and I think it's too much of a coincidence that we were going to approach the 50 EMA, and right exactly at around 9 a.m., this big candle was when the first tweet came out. The first tweet came out at this 9-minute candle, and it just propulsed, and then we said, okay, this is not good. This is not looking good. Basically, we broke below VWAP, showing that the buyers failed to defend their levels and the sellers came in aggressively. We had 3 closing candles below that. That was a signification of the short side. We entered the position, stop loss placed at definitive, most recent and relevant higher low at the $323 level. We took half profit at the pivot point. We got out of the majority of our shares here at around 298, but we didn't hold that on. The carnage kept going. Tesla kept declining, and we missed this whole move right here. But honestly, we didn't know this was going to happen. This more downward of shift came when Elon Musk dropped this bomb here that Donald Trump is supposedly in the Epstein files. I don't know why he said that. That's what he said, quote unquote. And the audacity of this man to just state that after being heavily critiqued is just honestly pretty intense. And the market didn't like that. We fell down lower, right? And we're also falling down lower here on the post market, but it's just down 14% in a day. Billions lost because of a single tweet. Absolutely incredible. Well, you guys may be asking, how does this look on a daily chart? And I'm not gonna kid you guys, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The daily chart is probably one of the worst candlesticks I have seen at all in this stock. Like, look at this, opening at 322, closing at 285. What in the world? Losing 50 points, now closing below the 50 EMA, most important indicator here on the daily to gauge the overall trend. We're doing such a good job. We took such effort to get above the 50 EMA. We were below it for such a long time, and just to have this now again below the 50 EMA, I'm gonna see this further downside. Possibly we may find support over the next couple of days at 270, but if that fails, there's no other support, no other than 223, right? If this level breaks, this is going to be the Alamo 270, then we will see support all the way into 223. And honestly, I am expecting a lot of people to kind of freak out on these news, maybe investors kind of gauge a little bit more of the sentiment, but if we do fail that, we are seeing more further downside, and it's quite unfortunate to see that. The stocks are going to be heavily impacted by the overall news and all that, but this is overall a must-watch moment. It's not just a political drama. It's going to be impacting the overall stock, and that's important for the portfolio. With Elon challenging the status quo and markets reacting, you cannot afford to ignore this move. So, if you want to stay ahead of the next trade, subscribe to our free newsletter at Uplift Markets. Link is in the description, and for early alerts and breakdowns before Wall Street even blinks. And as always, what's your take on the Musk versus Trump drama? Drop a comment, smash that like button, and hit that bell so you never miss these market shocks in real time. I'll see you guys in the next time. And as always, stay uplifted, stay sharp, and don't let the markets whip you guys out.